I'm on a quest to read every Star Wars novel ever written, because I truly have nothing better to do. Just the other day, I finished listening to an audiobook of Heir to the Jedi by Kevin Hearn. This is a canon novel, but before I get to the plot, I want to talk about that, because this book actually has a kind of interesting history. It's a canon novel, but it was actually written for Legends. Specifically, it was going to be part of a trilogy with two other Legends books, Razor's Edge and Honor Among Thieves. Each book in the trilogy was going to focus on one of the original three heroes, Luke, Han, and Leia, on a standalone adventure set during the Galactic Civil War. But Heir to the Jedi was set to be released after the continuity reset that turned the EU into Legends. So, considering that it was essentially a standalone novel, Lucasfilm decided to just slip Heir to the Jedi into the new canon and relegate Razor's Edge and Honor Among Thieves, a duology, in Legends. I think that's a fascinating bit of Star Wars publishing history, and it shows how arbitrary the distinction between canon and Legends can be. Whenever someone online says that one is better than the other, I feel the need to point out that sometimes the difference is just a few months gap in publishing. In addition, I do want to mention, the regular cover of the book isn't bad or anything, but I dramatically prefer the Brazilian cover art. So with that said, onto the actual book. Shortly after the Battle of Yavin at the end of A New Hope, Luke Skywalker is seeking a deeper understanding of the Force and is still hoping to follow in the footsteps of his father and become a Jedi Knight. And when a potential Imperial asset reaches out to the Rebellion for help escaping the Empire's clutches, Luke is ready to answer the call. Now, the first and most notable thing to talk about regarding this book is that it's set in first-person perspective, meaning the entire book is from Luke's point of view. And that can be tricky. See, the problem with first person is that it means that all of the prose needs to be in character. If I'm expected to believe that Luke Skywalker is talking here, then it needs to be written in the way that Luke Skywalker would write it. And this isn't. The prose of this book is constantly far more verbose and complex than the farm boy from Tatooine should sound like. Here's an example when he's reflecting on a Rodian he recently met. The Rodians smelled very bad, but Luke remembers that other aliens have even better senses of smell than humans do, so it would be even worse. And in light of that, he remarks, "My trip to Rhodia, for example, gave me cause to be thankful for humanity's stunted olfactory nerves." Luke Skywalker doesn't talk like that. Just say, "I thought they smelled bad on the outside." Done. The book also features a love interest for Luke, which is usually a big draw for me, but The girl isn't terrible, but she very rarely talks like an actual human being. She gives me the same vibes as that girl on TikTok who plays the lead from an indie movie. It's very manic pixie dream girl energy, and it didn't really win me over. And honestly, take a guess how the relationship works out based on that description. You're probably right. The last thing I want to talk about is the alien in question. Luke's mission in this book is to retrieve an alien cryptographer from the Empire, who has been acquired because her species are very advanced intellectually and are particularly very good at math. Which is not a bad thing in theory, but these aliens are literally all about math. It's considered polite to greet someone by telling them an equation to solve. She considers fractal geometry and cascading probability functions in her spare time as just like a hobby. Their society is literally top to bottom built on math, and I just don't buy it. There's a lot of diversity in the galaxy, and different societies are going to be built in different ways, and that's a part of the fun of the series. But I just don't see a society naturally developing with this extreme fixation on doing math. It sounds like something more out of Math Blasters or, Sesame Street than Star Wars. I don't want my sci-fi adventure books to feel like a pop quiz, Overall, there's nothing that bad in Heir to the Jedi. I wouldn't say I strongly dislike it, but it's really just a collection of sequences and ideas that are kind of okay. I'd give it a 4 out of 10.